the Supreme Court obviously gave us a decision. We aren't necessarily pleased with the outcome, as you might suspect. Just a little background, we started this almost 5 years ago to this date. Matt died on March 3rd, 2006, and here we are almost 5 years later to the date, getting a decision from the Supreme Court. There's a list of names behind me on the courthouse, and Matthew's name is one of those names. Those are our American heroes. They died for our country, for our right to be out here speaking. As you know and heard us say before, we don't believe they died for someone's right to harass someone at a funeral. Nonetheless, the Supreme Court made its decision today, and their decision is final. I'm very proud of Mr. Snyder for taking on this case. It's been a long, long 5 years, and he's been through a lot. My heart goes out to him each and every day, each and every time I think about this. When I read that opinion today, just going over the facts of the case again today, it was breaking my heart just to read the opinion describing what they did to Mr. Snyder and the Snyder family on that day.
Good afternoon. We're disappointed in today's ruling as it leaves military families without meaningful legal recourse when they're targeted for abuse by the Westboro Baptist Church. We fought the good fight to protect those who give their children to our nation and then go overseas to defend our freedoms. Those who pay the ultimate sacrifice on our behalf in defense of the nation. Despite the end result, I'm proud of our legal team for taking on this tough case, and particularly for Mr. Snyder's resolve in taking it to the highest court in the land. These people from Kansas have savaged hundreds of military families in this way, and this gentleman from York, Pennsylvania is the only one who's had the courage to stand up and fight this through the court system while his heart was breaking. Amidst all this legal wrangling that we're discussing today, I'd ask you to all remember that this is about a young Marine who gave his life in defense of our nation, and let's remember him in our prayers. I've served our nation in Iraq as a soldier. My co-counsel Sean Summers has served our country in Afghanistan. We know that our troops overseas don't worry about themselves when they're in harm's way. They worry about their families. They worry about what's going to happen to their families if they have to pay the ultimate sacrifice. For those troops, I have this message. While this decision is disappointing, please remember that the American people believe in you. That the overwhelming majority of Americans recognize and honor your sacrifice that you and your families make every day. God bless you and your families, and thank you for your commitment to our country.
Thank you to a bunch of people that helped me out over the past 5 years. Sean and Barley Snyder, Craig, all the military men and women who I've heard from, their families, the 48 Attorney Generals who signed the amicus brief, Steve Six of Kansas, whose amicus brief was outstanding. I'd like to thank my family for sticking by me through all this. And although it didn't have the outcome that I wanted, hey, I fought the good fight.
Mr. Snyder, were you surprised that it was an 8-1 decision?
I was very surprised.
What were your thoughts on that?
My first thought was 8 justices don't have the common sense God gave them vote. We found out today that we can no longer bury our dead in this country with dignity. What is this country becoming? When other countries won't even let them in on their land, and we let them 1,000, 500, 100 feet from a funeral.
Mr. Snyder, when we were with you in October, that afternoon after the argument, you said you wanted to see no other family have to go through what you went through. The Edwards family has gone through it. Other families have gone through it. What do you think this says to people about what is allowed and what's not allowed in society?
Well, it's right now with this opinion, it's anything goes. It's nothing stopping Westboro from going to your daughter's wedding because they feel like the Catholic Church is bad. Nothing is, and these justices, they don't have to worry about this because the Westboro Church and any other nut job church out there like this will never get anywhere near their family or their funerals. So they don't have to worry about it. It's us that have to worry about it.
The Westboro Baptist Church now says it's going to quadruple the number of protests and the number of funerals it attends. What is your reaction to that?
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Trying to stop this. Now, all the money that I'm going to have to pay them will go for more military funerals. And I'm ready to just put this behind me and move on. I'll keep up any fight I have to for the veterans and for our military men and women. We're in a war, and it seems like all we want to focus on is the economy. I know that's a big part of it, but there are still men and women over in Afghanistan dying. And this court has no problem with the government sending our children over to these wars, send them back in a body bag, and not even have enough respect for that dead soldier to be buried peacefully.